So a very good morning. Sunday morning, Maury Sullivan joins us on Air Sports News. Good morning, Maury.
Good morning to you too.
I know we're on the same time zone. Where are you?
Canton, Ohio, just an hour south of Cleveland, home of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. So we're going to talk a little bit about team nationals. Dawn was telling me a bit about this online, and it looks very interesting. I'm having a little read through. Tell me basically what it is. What is team nationals, Maury?
Team nationals or team competition is designed, at least in the U.S., the way we've run it, is it's a group of 3 pilots that are competing together as a team, but it's different in this respect. You don't merely take the results of pilot 1, add it to pilot 2, add it to pilot 3, and then compare it to another team. The tasking in many cases is designed that it must be fulfilled by the 3 individuals working together to achieve a common result. So it's got some interesting nuances to it. It's just a really unique, incredible way for pilots of different skill sets to work together to learn to nurture one another in understanding competitive flying.
Yeah. And when did this come about? And were you involved in the beginning of it?
Well, actually, the beginning goes back to, I believe, 1995 in the U.S. The first ever team competition was organized at that time by the BFA Competition Committee in a town in Gwinnett, Georgia. I was a participant in that. I had never attended or flown in a national competition before, and a couple of friends asked me if I'd like to join them on a team, and it sounded like fun, and the rest is history. Went down there, and we just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was quite a learning experience because the first time, of course, no one had ever seen tasks like this before, designed in this format. But that goes back to 1995. And then there was a long stretch where Battle Creek, which has hosted 2 world championships, but they have an annual balloon event, competitive balloon event for many years. But in the 90s, they took on the U.S. team championship and ran that championship there for a number of years. And I competed along with teammates there a number of times. And that just got me hooked on the concept.
And how does it differ then from a normal competition? I know you were saying about the scores and the 3 teams, but it's primarily to bring new people on, isn't it? And really encourage people to get.
Yeah, it's really designed to help with mentoring, if you will. Typically, a team is comprised of what we call an A player. And that A player are those who typically finish in the top 15 or 20 at the U.S. National Championship, or in our national ranking system are always ranked right up there in the top 10 or 20. That's the A player. They know how the game is played. They've got all the secrets to success, if you will. And then we have a B player. A B player, it has a little less stringent definition, but yet it's somebody that has some degree of competitive experience. Right. And then the C player can basically be anybody else. And oftentimes it's someone who has only flown maybe a few competitive events, or they're a newcomer. They're charging hard. They want to learn a lot about it. And so they become a 3rd member of that team. But that's generally how the composition works.
How are the allocations done? How do you get the team together?
Normally, I guess there is no normal now that I said that. This year, for the U.S. Team Championship, we have opened it up. We've got slots available for 12 teams, so 36 competitors. And what we have done in the application process is told anyone can submit an application for a team. So theoretically, you could be a C player and a couple of B players or an A player, and you can put your own team together.
Right.
The final analysis is just that a team cannot have more than one A player.
Right.
That's the basic tenet. You can only have one A player. And you can't have more than two B players. So you could have an A, B, and a C. You could have two Bs and a C. You could have three Cs. There's a lot of combinations, but the rules are generally designed that, hey, you put your team together, and the application process explains who's considered an A, who's considered a B, and then you can go about your own and put your team together.
Yeah. Tell me about a morning then. Tell me about a task, how it would run in competition.
That gets intriguing. Let me describe some of the uniqueness of some of the tasks. Many pilots are used to a task, for example, let's call a land run, where the objective is to achieve 3 different points so that you have a triangle or some type of polygon with these points, and then the greatest interior square meters, that's the winner. Right. So the neat thing about a team is you can assign different points to pilot A, B, and C. So they're going to go 3 different ways conceivably. And then depending on how the task is structured, is it inside a circle? Is it inside some other defined measurement area? Or do you have the use of the whole map? And then you can go about creating your 3 points. Similar on an angle task, instead of the same pilot creating the angle or the elbow turn, so on and so forth, 1, 2, or 3 of the pilots could well be going in different directions in order to achieve that result. And it plays on a number of tasks. You can have Gordon Bennett's, where perhaps one pilot has a particular aspect of a Gordon Bennett, and maybe the other 2 are throwing at the X, where only one is throwing at the defined scoring area, if you will.
Okay. So one's going for the X, but the other ones have just got to get in the ballpark, right?
Yeah. One unique one that we added last year that was actually recommended to us by one of the top ranked world pilots that we ran with last year. The 3 pilots on the team had a common goal at a large field.
Yeah.
And the difference was the A pilot, there was an imaginary cone around the center of the X, and it went up to, let's say, 200 meters. I forget what it was, but the A pilot was not able, or they would be penalized if they flew through the cone. So the B and C pilots could fly anywhere. They could come right through the middle and drop their marker right on the X. Whereas the A player, they could throw a marker, but they'd have to do it from outside the cone. Right. So theoretically, you're throwing it a long distance from outside the cone, but more realistically, you're flying above the cone, trying to fly over the X, and now you've got a higher altitude drop. So it's more challenging for the A player. And that was kind of a unique approach to separating tasking for A, B, and C, but at a common goal.
Yeah. It's fascinating to see the target approaches and dropping the markers onto the X. I think it should be live televised. It's really, really interesting and exciting to watch, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah, we observed your streaming. It was shown to us at the recent CIA meeting over in Italy, yes, where you had done the work in conjunction with the Gordon Bennett. And that was a great job, by the way. That was really entertaining and educational along the way. Well done.
Thank you, Maury. Yeah, we'll be back this year in Switzerland, and hopefully at the Worlds as well. How did you get involved in ballooning? When did it all start for you?
I started back in I think it was around 1982. I got my private license, but my interest in organizing and directing, it came at a local event here in our hometown in conjunction with the Pro Football Hall of Fame Festival. So I started that event, and I've been associated with that event for 35 years now. I think it goes back about 35, 36 years. So that's kind of where I got started. And then again, as far as being a competitive pilot myself, that really didn't start until the team concept came about. So I've been competing since about 90, I forget when that was, down in Gwinnett, serious competition from the mid 90s or so.
How's the Hall of Fame doing? How is it?
Oh my gosh, it's growing leaps and bounds. There's like a $2 billion investment going on on the what they call the campus, and it's really blossoming. I go drive by there periodically just to see the growth. It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's quite going to be quite a facility once everything is done.
Yeah. And what about Albuquerque with all these new regulations have been talking about? I was reading with the New Mexico
yeah, they basically have a temporary LOA, letter of agreement, with the FSDO. I think it's good for a year. It's all around this new reporting system that if you're flying in and about Class C airspace, that you have, the regulation was written that you have to have this on board. Well, balloons don't have electronics. Same thing, same reason we don't typically fly with an encoder for mode C, so on and so forth. But a lot of effort was put together by a number of people to try and get the regulators to see and understand that, we can work within the system. Let's just talk about the communication that's necessary, and maybe we can, in fact, both play in the same sandbox and do so safely. So it's kind of an experiment for the next year, I would say. Albuquerque, even last year with APRS, was still able to fly within that zone because they had a temporary waiver that allowed them to do it. But there is so much ballooning in Albuquerque, commercial, sport, otherwise, and to exclude that area around the airport there, the Class C airspace, is very, very restrictive. And hopefully cooler heads will prevail, and we'll find a good meeting point in the middle here where it's safe for everybody.
I mean, the money that the festival brings into the local community every year, it's staggering.
Oh, it is. Yeah, staggering is the right word. Yeah. That's why I think a lot of the politicians and regulators, so on and so forth, obviously they saw where, we don't want something that's going to kill our local economy. It's not going to kill the economy, but it would certainly make a major impact on it. Yeah. And that's what the people enjoy it. Everybody out there, as much as they snarl about the traffic and so on and so forth, they still enjoy the show. It's a great show. And it's the 50th anniversary this year.
50th anniversary, yeah. It's going to be another incredible spectacle, right, for sure. So with the team ballooning, Maury, how is the young blood? Plenty of people coming through, or do you need a lot more, or how is it?
Oh, we're always looking for new young competitors. Actually, there was a meeting out in Albuquerque last year with the hot air competition division of the BFA, and we annually they have a general meeting, like a brainstorming, tell us what you think about what direction competition in the US is going, so on and so forth. And a number of the younger individuals were clamoring for, I guess that's the best term, more opportunities for mentorship, whether it be some kind of training school for competition or other forms of mentorship. And that's where this team competition plays in perfectly. It's absolutely the best tool that I think we have right now to encourage mentorship.
And when are the next competitions? When are the dates? Do you know when they are? When it's happening next?
For the teams?
Yeah.
The teams are in Shreveport, Louisiana, this June. I believe the dates are the 20th to the 25th, June 20th to the 25th.
Good. Well, Maury, it's been nice to have a catch up with you on a Sunday morning.
Sure.
Is it ballooning weather? Is it a bit late in the day?
Not today. No, it's the last couple of days been, we had a few snow flurries yesterday and today and very windy. So no, not very good ballooning weather right now.
Exactly the same here in Toronto. I'm assured that it's going to be a beautiful summer, and it always is around here, but I'm ready for it now. You know,
I'll bet. We always, by the way, we always enjoy getting to Toronto. What a great city. Great city.
Well,
a lot of entertainment.
Give me a shout out next time you're in town, and we'll go and catch you up.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for your time, Maury, and take care. Have a great Sunday. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.